If you listen to the comments online from Russian trolls, from actual Russian troll farms, you will hear that it's the West that is constantly poking the bear. Stop poking the bear. Leave the bear alone. The bear wants to be left alone. It's actually the opposite, guys. It is Russia poking the West time and time and again, looking for a reaction, looking for an excuse, looking for weaknesses mostly. That's actually what I believe they're looking to do, and looking to debilitate, humiliate, create cracks in their adversary, in their actual enemy. Folks, as always, if you want to learn more about preparedness and survival, you're in the right place. A ton of information already here. You also have my books, the financial aspect covered in this book right here, Surviving the Economic Collapse, based on the experience of going through just that in my country, Argentina, and this other book, Street Survival Skills. A ton of valuable practical preparedness and survival information. A lot of the book focuses on self-defense, the use of firearms, the classes I've taken in different parts of the world with qualified instructors from beginner, intermediate, and advanced shooting techniques that I share with you guys. If you're not taking the class, this is no doubt the best way to incorporate that knowledge without spending the thousands and thousands of dollars in classes and in ammunition that I have spent over the years. So that's going to be in the links there below, available in Amazon. We are looking at an increased amount of incursions by Putin in the West. Putin orders increased drone incursions in Europe as Russia ramps up hybrid war, with Belgium's biggest airport forced to close overnight. And this is constant. This guy, and it's really not all that complicated. He's not a complex individual. He is greedy, he's ruthless, but he's not all that difficult to read. He has said these things himself. According to Vladimir Putin, the greatest tragedy in the history of the world has been the fall of the Soviet Empire. He would like very much to see it rebuild, or as much of it as possible. That's why he's going for Ukraine. That's why he's poking on the former Soviet Union states, trying to see where he can get some of that back. All right? He is set on that idea, and as long as he's alive, he will try to rebuild that. And that's a problem, especially because, again, he's a bully. He will, and let's make this perfectly clear for all the Russian bro. There's really not any Russian bro. No one is that fucking stupid. There's a lot of Russian trolls, paid trolls. That blah, blah, blah. No, Russia has no chance. Zero. Nothing. Zero chance at all to fight, not against the West, against Europe alone. This is a country that could not take Ukraine in over a decade. In fact, this is a country that has lost the land and the terrain it had taken from Ukraine to a huge extent. Remember, in case you have forgotten, or maybe you're very young, these guys actually were in the capital of Ukraine. They were actively invading Kiev just around the city. They actually landed in the airport. There were battles. These battles were lost, and they were pushed back. And they were pushed back to a line in which they haven't been for, well, it was like 14 years. The least amount of terrain. Now, you will see headlines of, oh, but they're about to win this city or that. Still, when you look at the amount of land mass that they've managed to control up at this point, it just shows you that it has zero chance of winning a war against all of Europe. You cannot deal with Ukraine, then you have no chance whatsoever of dealing with Europe. Not even talking about NATO, about United States and Europe. No, Europe alone. Europe alone is 10 times the economy that Russia is. Europe alone has 3, maybe 4 times fold the amount of professional soldiers that Russia has left at this point. Make no mistake on who's better equipped, who's better capable of dealing with this. But it does not stop him from poking, from trying to cause damage, trying to cause fractures, weakness, trying to divide, trying to break apart Europe as much as he can. And these are all things that they've been doing that for a long time. A big part of Brexit was financed by this man, in case you haven't noticed. This is something that was very much aligned with his interests. Many ways also with the interests of the United States, especially from the economic perspective, but it goes beyond the topic of this video. The point here is that he's playing a very dangerous game, because there's going to be a point that he continues doing this where there will have to be some sort of retaliation. Not only Europe, but from the United States as well. You cannot keep disrespecting threatening, and harming nations and not expect them to answer. Western powers accuse Russia of posing a threat in space. They're jamming satellites, the United States and Europe alike. Donald Trump made a big deal about shaking Putin's hand very, very hard, then flying jets over his head. He didn't care. I don't know exactly what is it that Putin has on Trump. You know, again, maybe for another video, but you're looking at not really, you know, the kind of leadership that you would expect. Not only not in the United States, in Europe with this woman. This lady, this old lady, should really go do something else. She is not a capable leader. She's not strong. She's not capable of dealing with this kind of threat. And that's where we are. These are the situations that make you, wonder and maybe a little bit more concerning. Because if you did have, especially in the border, especially in Europe, especially in what's closest to Russia, if you had a strong leader that took no shit, that put Putin's in his place immediately, you know what Putin does? He backs down. Because he knows that he has nothing. He cannot deal with Ukraine. You cannot deal with all of Europe, buddy. That's simply not how it goes. Not with the numbers the way they are. Not with, but we have, everyone has nukes. Nukes, in case you haven't noticed, let me know the last time that nukes won you a war, especially in the last, 50, 60 years? How is it that helping you in Afghanistan, in the Middle East? How is that helping Russia in Ukraine? But they're gonna do shit. They cannot take it, and they will keep going at it until they bleed themselves out, probably sooner than them. And that's just the way it's going to be. But you have to be careful, because the moment in which you fuck up something that forces the hand of either Europe or even the United States at this point, then you may have something that can be quite dangerous. Again, strong leaders, strong, capable leaders will put this to a stop, put a stop to this. But so far, we don't see them. And that's a problem. That's a serious problem for everyone. Folks, that's going to be all for now. See you on the next video. Take care.